Golf is a game of triumphs and heartbreaks, where every swing can define a legacy. From gut-wrenching defeats to moments of sheer brilliance, these stories will take you on an emotional journey through the sport's most unforgettable moments. The first of these is a disappointment, because it's heartbreak, and since few will ever play this game seriously, let's have a look. The stage was set for two legends to claim victory, but what unfolded was a gut-wrenching roller coaster golf fans won't forget. Colin Montgomery, long known as the best golfer never to win a major, stood on the 18th hole with a chance to end his heartbreak. His tee shot was perfect, but the pressure struck. His approach went into the rough, and 3 putts later, his dream was shattered. Next up was Phil Mickelson, aiming for his first U.S. Open. His aggressive style backfired as his tee shot sliced into the trees, followed by more mistakes, tree trouble, a bunker, until his double bogey sealed his fate. Both Montgomery and Mickelson faltered on the same hole, handing the win to Jeff Ogilvy. It was a brutal, unforgettable finish. Tiger Woods, cool, calculated, unshakable. That was the Tiger the world knew. But at the 2006 Open Championship at Royal Liverpool, fans witnessed a raw, human moment. Tiger was on a mission, playing some of the finest golf ever seen. Every shot was precise, like a master at work. By Sunday, he reached the 18th green, and the win was his. The crowd erupted as he sank his final putt, celebrating with his iconic fist pump. But then, as cheers thundered, Tiger turned to his caddy, Steve Williams, and broke down, collapsing into his arms in tears. This wasn't just a victory. It was a tribute to his late father, Earl Woods, his mentor and anchor, who had passed away months earlier. At 8, we moved to 2023, where Max Homa stood on the 18th hole at Riviera, the course where he grew up dreaming of moments like this. The Genesis Invitational wasn't just another tournament, it was his tournament. Homa had already lived the dream once, winning this event 2 years ago and receiving the trophy from his childhood hero, Tiger Woods. But that victory came during the pandemic, with no family or friends there to share the moment. This time everything was different. His loved ones were lined up along the ropes, cheering him on as he battled head-to-head with Jon Rahm. By the time they reached the final stretch, Homa was tied with Rahm, but then Rahm pulled ahead with 2 clutch birdies, leaving Homa needing one last miracle to force a playoff. Homa had a chance. He faced a chip that would either cement his legend or leave him just short. With a smooth, deliberate swing, the ball left his club perfectly low, spinning and right on target. The crowd began to stir, excitement building as the ball rolled toward the hole, looking like it was destined to drop. This was the moment. It's going in. It has to go in. But then, it hit the lip of the cup. Homa, still hunched from the shot, dropped to the ground, his head in his hands, staring in disbelief. For a split second, he had believed it was going in, and so had everyone else. But now, the dream was over. In his post-round press conference, Homa's emotions finally caught up with him. "When I won in 21, nobody was here, and it hurts me not to be able to do that with everyone here," he said, pausing to collect himself. His voice cracked under the weight of it all. "But I tried, man." 7 takes us back to the 1997 Ryder Cup. Europe had not won on American soil in 28 years, and the pressure was on as the final day unfolded. The American team was determined to break the streak, but the Europeans had other plans. The match came down to the final singles match between Europe's Sergio Garcia and the U.S. Justin Leonard. The two were neck and neck, but it was Leonard's 45-foot putt on the 17th hole that made history. When the ball dropped, the roar from the crowd was deafening. The putt gave Leonard the win and secured the Ryder Cup for the United States. As he raised his arms in triumph, the emotions of the entire team and the crowd poured out. It was a moment of pure jubilation, a reminder of the power of sport to unite and inspire. After a 16-10-day dry spell, Ricky Fowler's victory at the 2023 Rocket Mortgage Classic was a comeback story golf fans had eagerly awaited. It had been over 4 years since his last PGA Tour win, a period marked by setbacks, struggles with form, and pressure that seemed to take a toll on him. So what happened? Fowler entered the final day in prime position, playing some of his best golf in years. As he reached the 72nd hole, the stakes were high. A playoff awaited. If he couldn't make birdie. Standing over his approach shot, his determination was clear. He struck it perfectly, and the ball soared toward the pin, landing in striking distance. It all came down to one putt. With the gallery holding their breath, Fowler lined it up, steadied his nerves, and rolled the ball straight into the heart of the cup. Birdie secured, and a playoff ensued. In the sudden death showdown against Colin Morikawa and Adam Hadwin, Fowler found himself with another birdie opportunity to seal the win. The pressure was immense, the green silent, and the weight of 4 winless years bore down on him. With one final read, Fowler struck the putt with precision. The ball rolled cleanly into the hole, and the crowd erupted. Fowler clenched his fists, his face a mixture of triumph and relief, as emotions from the years past poured out in that single moment. Imagine fighting tooth and nail in a playoff for one of golf's biggest prizes. In 2016, Anna Nordqvist was battling Brittany Lang for the U.S. Women's Open title. But what happened on the second playoff hole turned this dream into a nightmare. The playoff was tense, with both players locked in, every shot carrying enormous weight. On the second playoff hole, Nordqvist found herself in a greenside bunker. She took her stance, swung, and sent the ball out cleanly. But what she didn't know was that her club had barely grazed the sand during her backswing. According to the rules, this meant a 2-stroke penalty. Yet the officials remained silent. Nordqvist wasn't told until after she hit her third shot on the 18th. Meanwhile, Lang had been informed earlier, giving her a crucial advantage. The shock and frustration on Nordqvist's face were evident when she found out. She wasn't just fighting for a major title. She was facing a situation that felt completely unfair and out of her control. In 2009, Tom Watson, at 59 years old, was just one shot away from rewriting golf history. He had been defying the odds all week at Turnberry, playing better than golfers half his age. On the 18th hole of the final day, all he needed was a par to secure the claret jug. Watson's approach shot was perfect, or so it seemed. But then, it took an unexpectedly firm bounce and skidded off the back of the green. A simple up and down would have won it. But Watson's first putt trickled across the green and stopped short, leaving him with a tricky distance to save par. Still, this was Tom Watson. The crowd held its breath as he lined up his putt for the win. He struck it cleanly, but the ball grazed the edge and stayed out. A bogey sent Watson into a 4-hole playoff, but the energy that had carried him seemed to waver. After 4 days of competition, the emotional toll of the near fairy tale ending was too much. Watson lost the playoff by a wide margin. Bubba Watson had been chasing his first PGA Tour win for years. In 2010, at the Travelers Championship, it seemed like his time had finally come. As the tournament unfolded, he played with an unshakable focus, climbing the leaderboard and finding himself in a 3-man playoff. On the second playoff hole, Bubba lined up a wedge shot that would decide everything. He struck it perfectly, and the ball landed just inches from the hole. All that was left was a short putt for the win. Then it happened. The putt dropped, and Bubba erupted in celebration. But as the cheers subsided, reality hit him. Bubba pulled his hat down over his face, overwhelmed by emotion as tears streamed down. This victory wasn't just for him. It was for his father, Jerry Watson Sr., who was battling throat cancer. Bubba dedicated the win to him, and just months later, Jerry passed away, making the victory even more bittersweet. By the early 1980s, Jack Newton was a rising golf star, narrowly missing major victories at the 1975 Open Championship and the 1980 Masters. Known for his charisma and skill, his career came to a sudden halt in 1983. At a Sydney airport, Newton accidentally walked into a spinning plane propeller. The accident was devastating. He lost his right arm and eye, and his life hung in the balance for weeks. But remarkably, he survived and refused to let the tragedy define him. Newton stayed connected to golf through commentary, coaching, and junior programs, becoming a symbol of resilience and inspiration. At the top of the list is Payne Stewart, a legend in the making. Payne Stewart was a golfing legend, known for his style, charisma, and passion for the game. His iconic 15-foot putt to win the 1999 U.S. Open at Pinehurst was unforgettable, and he played a key role in the U.S. Ryder Cup victory that year. At the height of his career, tragedy struck in October 1999, when his private plane lost cabin pressure. The aircraft flew on autopilot before crashing, leaving no survivors. The news devastated the sports world. Beyond his achievements, Stewart was a role model who embodied respect, heart, and love for the game, inspiring millions worldwide. If these stories moved you, imagine what's coming next. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore more iconic tales from the world of golf.